begins Tuesday on Sportsnet.
A very successful trip through Boston and Chicago ended with a stirring come-from-behind victory on Saturday at Wrigley Field, and now the Blue Jays are back home for 10, starting with a game tonight against the Houston Astros. So let's take you up to the broadcast booth, shall we? That's where we find Dan Schulman and Caleb Joseph.
Jamie, thank you. As you say, very successful. A rain-shortened 4-1 road trip, and that rain has pushed Dylan Cease into tonight. Hunter Brown for the Astros. This is some kind of pitching matchup.
Dan, if you like stuff electric coming from the mound, it's going to happen in this game, and make sure you pay attention. We know Dylan Cease has all of the weapons at his arsenal, and talking to Alejandro Kirk today, he said, I'm waiting to see that fastball-slider combo really lock in so we can continue to use the other parts of the zone. The changeup, Kirk said, is a pitch he's really starting to like. Only 3 left-handed hitters in the Astros lineup, but one of them is very dangerous in Yordan Alvarez. See if Dylan Cease busts out that changeup against him, because he is a little bit vulnerable on that pitch. And on the other side, it's Hunter Brown. This is a Justin Verlander copycat, in my opinion. The windup looks very similar. The arsenal is similar. Tremendous extension, explosive stuff. Here's the bad news for Jays fans. 15 innings pitched versus the Jays over the last couple years. For Hunter Brown, 0 earned runs. They're going to have to really put together a lot of solid at-bats against Hunter Brown, because he is one of the elite pitchers in the league.
On Saturday at Wrigley, Kazuma Okamoto had one of the biggest hits this team has had this season. The 3-run homer to break the tie, lead them to victory. Jamie, if they get another victory here tonight, they're back to the 500 mark.
Okamoto's been a find, hasn't he? He'll be set to go against the Astros, and yet again, we'd like to tell you our hearts go out to the people in Montreal impacted by today's tragic events. We hope you can enjoy a ball game tonight on Sportsnet.
Certified. Got it.
Rogers Xfinity.
Yeah, Wi-Fi just pouring out of that thing.
Welcome to Rogers Blue Jays baseball on Sportsnet, and welcome to the beginning of the longest homestand of the season for your Toronto Blue Jays. They are home for 10 in a row, beginning with 3 against the Houston Astros. The first time these two teams will meet this year. The Astros, like the Blue Jays, playing better lately. Joe Espada's team 5 games under 500, but trending in a positive direction. And I'll tell you what's trending in a positive direction: anything that Yordan Alvarez does. Oof. There are many people, and we talked to people on both sides of the field today, who think this guy might be the best hitter in all of baseball. We'll see how the Blue Jays handle him. Dylan Cease does have great numbers against Alvarez in his career. We'll see if that holds up.
14th start of the year for Cease, 3rd since coming back from the IL. Short little stint there. Games against the Phillies and the Red Sox, pretty good. 11 innings pitched, 7 hits, 1 earned run, 18 strikeouts. We know he has that strikeout ability. It's all about preventing the free passes, and the Houston Astros are notorious for being able to really make you pay on those free passes. See if he can get in the zone early and often. On defense for Cease here in the first of this 3-game set, Sanchez is in left, Varsho is in center field. Big diving play there in Chicago on his return back. Lucas in right, Okamoto's at third. Big 3-run homer for Okamoto. Jimenez, Clement, Guerrero Jr. is making his 65th start, and Kirk is behind the plate.
Jeremy Pena is the leadoff man for the Astros. The roof is open tonight, a little cool and breezy, but it's really nice to have it open. Remember, Dylan Cease was going to start in Chicago against the Cubs yesterday, about 2 hours before game time. That game was postponed due to rain, so he's had to regroup, reboot, and instead of facing the Cubs, here he is in the Astros series, and Pena jumps on a first pitch fastball and lines it into left for a base hit. And so now a man on right away as Pete Walker looks on, and here comes Alvarez. The numbers just jump off the page when you look at them. He is leading all of baseball in OPS. He leads the American League in home runs and slugging, and he is second in batting average. Swings through a fastball, 0-1. Why is he so good?
There's really nowhere to go, Dan. You might have a little spot down and in, but if you throw a breaking ball that doesn't get all the way to the back foot, he hammers it to right. He can cover so many different zones. His bat plane and path is so consistent, and if he doesn't hit it, he's just going to draw a walk if you don't throw it over the plate.
This is not the situation for it, obviously, but John Schneider was asked about how do you prepare, how do you handle a guy like Alvarez, and Schneider held up one of his hands and started wiggling 4 fingers, and he said, I'm getting loose early, I'm getting ready.
Yes.
Tongue-in-cheek, saying there may be some intentional walks here in this series if the situation calls for it. And Alvarez has been intentionally walked 10 times this year, and that is the most in the major leagues.
I think, Dan, you've got to treat him like Aaron Judge, and everyone knows when you see the Houston Astros lineup, you circle that Alvarez. Don't let him beat you, and John Schneider alluded to that. He's okay taking his chances with the other Astros in that lineup.
Cease out in front of him, 1-2. And does not get the chase, 2-2. Joe Espada spoke in glowing terms about Alvarez before the game. Said he's not a slugger. He's a great hitter with power. His approach is simple. Not his game plan, but his approach, the swing, is simple. It's repeatable. He uses the entire field. Here's the 2-2 with the runner going, and it's bounced foul. The Astros rarely run. They've got the fewest number of stolen bases in the majors, just 24. Joe Espada's team ravaged by injuries, especially on the pitching side. Like the Blue Jays, they are starting to get healthy. The one notable name on the position player side they don't have is Carlos Correa, ankle surgery, out for the season. Pena goes again, and it's ball 3. The throw down not nearly in time. And it's stolen base number 6 on the season for Pena.
Kirk just 3 for 24 caught stealing this season, but it's truly not indicative of kind of how he's thrown the baseball. Check out the jump from Pena. No catcher in the big leagues is going to throw Pena out with that type of jump, that slow delivery to home plate. Just do your best to get it down there. Hope he slides past the base.
So now a full count on Alvarez. Cease a couple of checks on Pena. And a foul back to continue this at bat. Even some of the very best hitters in the game have obvious holes here and there. Alvarez does not appear to have any obvious holes.
You can get Ohtani out in certain ways. You can get Mike Trout out. You can even get Judge out. I still don't know how you get Alvarez out.
A lot of attention from Cease on Pena. Boy, he looked back, I think, 3 times before he threw that pitch.
Mixing your looks is one way to hold a runner at second base. You don't want to get predictable, and that is Cease knowing that he could potentially be a 2-look guy and then go. That's changing it up, trying to change the pattern.
Here comes pitch number 9 of this at bat, and it's ball 4. So first and second, nobody out here for Cease to get this ball game started. Number 3 hitter is the first baseman Christian Walker, a guy with power. He's got 18 home runs, has averaged about 30 the last 3 years, and a guy you played with in Baltimore.
Correct. And Arizona. Bit of a late bloomer.
You or him?
Him. I'm still trying
you
to figure it out.
haven't bloomed yet.
Or I bloomed when I was about 17 and couldn't figure it out after that. He's really turned into a nice big leaguer.
Cease in a bit of a jam here in the top of the first inning as he misses down and in for ball 1. Walker's never had a hit off Cease. 0 for 11. Not the way John Schneider wanted to see this one get going. Swings through a high fastball, 1-1. So as of yesterday, Cease is all in on the Cubs. You've been in the situation, you get rained out, you got to get it going the next day, but he now has to get it going against a different opponent, not the team he was expecting to face. Fouled off 1-2.
And he might be one of those pitchers, Dan, that has a good game plan but isn't crazy specific just because his weapons are so elite. A guy like Shane Bieber, maybe even a guy like Gausman, might have to really figure out where they want to go to open up some spots. Cease is going to have that info, but most of it might be dictated on what he has that day.
Shane Bieber looking on. Bieber will make his season debut tomorrow night. Bieber was to have pitched tonight, but the rain pushed everybody back a day, so Bieber is going to start tomorrow night, his first time on the mound in the regular season here this year. The 2-2 pitch. Got him. Struck him out for out number 1.
Well, I was just about to say, wasn't sure if he had a really good feel for the breaking balls, but this is a good tight slider down and away, exactly what he needed in this first inning, a punch out swing and miss, and he gets it.
Strikeouts are brought to you by Subway. Get 25% off any footlong on game days. Order in the Subway app using the code STRIKEOut. One down, and here's Isaac Paredes, who is DHing tonight, another guy with power. 10 home runs this year. There goes Pena. He got a huge start out at second. Alvarez didn't go, but Pena steals third without a throw. And now a challenge coming on the pitch call as well. This closer look is brought to you by Specsavers. And that is a ball, just down and away.
Pitch is a ball. Houston has 2 challenges remaining.
So the Astros still with 2, and instead of 0-1, it's 1-0. Boy, Pena very aggressive out of the bases here in the first inning. And again, Houston doesn't run all that much. This combination of Cease and Kirk must be one that they think they can pick on.
And advanced scouting, knowing that the pitcher potentially has some tells, whether it's 1 or 2 looks, whether it's 1 or 2 holds. Typically those guys like to go first pitch, and he did.
In there for a strike with a slider. 1-1 on Paredes, who is a dead pull hitter. If you know a guy is a dead pull hitter, what do you try to do to keep him from pulling them?
Well, it's interesting. You want to kind of get him out away, but you can't not throw pitches on the inner half.
Fastball fouled back 1-2.
Or else they will continue to reach, and you won't be able to throw it far enough away from him. And so you've got to kind of figure out where he is going from the start. And look at this spray chart. This is home runs career, not just in Houston. 102 have all been to left field. Reminds me a little bit of Jose Bautista, and it's a very similar type of approach. You want to get him out on the outer half, but you have to show him some pitches in, or else he's going to get extended, and that's what he wants to do.
Cease in front of him, 1-2. Short into left. An RBI single to give the Astros a 1-0 lead.
Well, he's able to get Paredes off the end of the bat, but it's just not all the way to the outer part of the plate. What we were just talking about, these hitters, they want to pull, they want to get extended, and he gets the ball on the ground that he needs. But if it was more towards the outer part of the plate, maybe that is rolled over directly to Okamoto, and before you know it, Astros take a 1-0 lead.
And now here's Jose Altuve. For so many years, used to seeing Altuve hit first or second. Now 36 years of age. The number's down a bit this year. He's hitting in the 5 spot. He can still hurt you. Now Altuve wants to challenge.
Batters challenging, call a strike.
And he is correct. That's a ball. So the Astros already
remaining.
2 for 2. And Caleb, their position player group is the most successful in the majors in challenging, both in terms of the raw numbers and the percentage. And he's challenging again.
Wow.
Batter is challenging the strike call.
They're booing him a little bit here, but it's his prerogative,
Sure.
and he's 2 for 2. So
Houston
you
has
can't
2
blame
challenges
him.
remaining.
Have you seen a 2 for 2?
I have.
Yet this year?
Not back-to-back pitches,
No.
I don't think. I think we've seen 2 in the same at bat, maybe, but
Incorrect.
we haven't seen that. First and second, 1 out, and a run in already for the Astros. And then he swings at one that would have been ball 3. Now 36 years of age, hitting .235, a 3-time batting champ, a .301 lifetime batting average. That is second among all active players. Only Luis Arraez has a higher career batting average among active players than Jose Altuve. The appeal from Kirk, he did not go, and it's 3-1.
Check out this check swing from Altuve. Looked like he might have been close.
And another walk. So the bases are loaded with a run in. The pitch count already up to 24. Kirk with a well-timed visit out to the mound, but not the kind of start that John Schneider and Pete Walker were looking for tonight. Dylan Cease just having trouble with these Astros.
Oh, it's exactly what we mentioned before the game, is free passes. And when Cease has his good stuff, he's in the zone, he's forcing contact, he's forcing swing and miss. He's kind of dictating the pace. And as you mentioned, the Astros come in with a very good idea of the strike zone, and they're kind of forcing him into that zone, and they're actually being patient with elite stuff that's very hard to do. Very easy to say, hey, go be patient up there, make him throw strikes. But when you have the elite stuff that Cease has, it can be difficult.
Here's the catcher, Yainer Diaz, hitting .243, 2 homers. Bases loaded, 1 out. And a curveball misses down and away, ball 1. 25 pitches for Cease, 13 strikes, 12 balls. Guerrero even with the bag at first. Okamoto double play depth, middle infielders as well. And a ground ball weakly hit to short. Can they turn it? They can. Boy, let's mark that one down as one of the big moments in the game. If the Blue Jays can find their way out in front later on, they get Cease out of it with just 1 run allowed.
A Draft begins Tuesday on Sportsnet.
So the bottom of the first, the Blue Jays coming up down 1-0. The former Astro, George Springer, DHing and leading off again for the Blue Jays. And a look at the lineup. It includes Kazuma Okamoto, that big 3-run homer on Saturday. Tied for the most home runs among third basemen in the big leagues. Alejandro Kirk is your cleanup hitter tonight. Jesus Sanchez in the 7th spot. Ernie Clement in the 8th spot. The lineup looks long tonight. They are going to try to make life difficult on Hunter Brown by wearing him down, making him throw a lot of pitches.
Hunter Brown, lengthy stint on the IL with a shoulder strain. This is only his 4th start of the season. The first 3 have gone pretty good. 16 1/3 innings pitched, 24 strikeouts. 2/3 of his pitches will be a variation of the fastballs, 4-seam and sinker. He does have curveball, changeup, slider, great extension. This stuff is electric. He has owned the Blue Jays. 4 career starts, 1.42 ERA, 0 earned run, Dan, in his last 15 innings pitched versus the Jays.
Yep. He threw a game against them last April down in Houston, one of the very best games any pitcher threw against the Blue Jays last year. George Springer has had more success against Brown than any other member of the Blue Jays lineup. George is 3 for 8 with a home run off Brown. As you mentioned, just off the IL, and the ceiling for this young right-hander is Cy Young. That's how good he is. I don't mean being Cy Young, I mean winning the Cy Young. I don't think he's going to win 511 games, but I mean winning the Cy Young.
Yes.
He finished 3rd last year. And Tarek Skubal and Garrett Crochet were the two guys ahead of him. That's how good this guy can be.
He's not a household name, Dan, but everybody in the industry knows what he is capable of and knows that he is the true top of the rotation starter for the Astros.
Down and away, 2-2. After Springer, it'll be Lucas and Guerrero. Brown, born in Detroit, grew up idolizing Justin Verlander. Not an accident his delivery looks a lot like Verlander's. Good take by Springer. It's full.
A lot of the same shapes with the same type of action. Verlander with a four-seam up top could run a good hard sinker on the inner half. 12-6 downer, hard biting slider. And when you have a pitcher that has two elite fastballs that Brown has, which he is throwing a lot of the time, it can really make for 4 or 5 different feels from a hitter. He can go fastball up, four-seam, fastball down and away, four-seam, front hip sinker, backdoor sinker, all of those. And so it might not just be 2 pitches. It's you have to really respect the entire zone just on the heater. We're not even talking about the breaking balls that he's going to feature beyond it. He's just so dominant with that fastball.
He didn't have the sinker originally. A couple of years ago, Alex Bregman, then with the Astros, said, you know, dude, I think if you threw a sinker in on the righties, it would really cause them problems. So Alex Bregman is the one to blame for Brown adding another very good pitch to the arsenal. Strike 3 called. Springer is challenging. George has rarely done that this year. And that one just catches the bottom of the zone.
Toronto has 1 challenge remaining.
So Springer is out on strikes, and the Blue Jays down to 1 challenge.
Just a pitcher's pitch on the down and away rail. So difficult. Probably trying to go middle down, but pulls it just a little bit, and that seems so far away when you're trying to protect on the inner half.
Here's Nathan Lucas, hitting .306 on the season. There is 1 less left-hand hitting outfielder on the roster today. If you didn't hear the roster move, the Blue Jays made it official. The acquisition of infielder Luis Urias from the Arizona Diamondbacks. He is here, and Yohendrick Pinango, there's Urias, can play second and third. Right-handed batter, figures to get most of his time against lefties. And Pinango's sent to Buffalo. With Varsho back off the IL, you've got Varsho, you've got Lucas, you've got Sanchez, all left-hand hitting outfielders. And there just weren't enough at-bats to go around, so the message to Pinango was, hey, you did great with the bat. Go down there, keep doing what you're doing. Work on the defense. So now they've got 3 left-hand hitting outfielders, and it just kind of balances the roster a little bit more. Urias is not going to get a ton of playing time, but it figures to be in there a fair bit against lefties. 2-2 the count, and also a little bit more insurance on the infield. Ernie Clement he's playing, but he's playing with a sore hip right now. Just gives them another guy they can play Davis Schneider out in left if Urias is at second. Two to Lucas. Almost hit his right elbow. 3-2. Guerrero next. Lucas will lift a fly ball to shallow left. Yordan Alvarez not DHing tonight. He's in left field for the Astros. Makes the play. 2 down.
Let's take a look at the defense behind Brown today. You just saw Alvarez in left field. 13th start for him in left. Myers in center. Loperfido, former Blue Jay, back here at Rogers Center. Just his 2nd start in right field around the diamond. Delgado at third. Pena at shortstop. 9-time All-Star Altuve's at second. Christian Walker, 3 Gold Gloves. He's really improved his defense over the years, and Diaz is behind the plate for the Astros.
2 down and the base is empty for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And he'll look at a 2-seam fastball at 97 that's in there for a strike. And then had something to say that cracked up Yainer Diaz behind the plate. Vladdy 0 for 6 in his career against Brown. Had a good game on Saturday at Wrigley. 2 line drive base hits, 1 to center, 1 to right center, both off good velocity. One of them drove in a run. At the knees, and it's 1-2. This is big league stuff.
Elite.
Yeah. Staying with the fastball, Guerrero got a piece of it.
And so how do you beat a guy like Hunter Brown? I think for guys that are able and willing, maybe a guy like Springer, maybe a guy like Clement, you can try and beat him to the spot early in the count. Otherwise, you've got to battle, and that's Vladdy Guerrero Jr. trying to battle. So look for a couple guys to maybe beat a fastball to the spot, but then otherwise death by 1,000 cuts.
Tried a curveball and bounced it through the legs of Diaz. 2-2. Christian Javier's on the IL. Renel Blanco's out for the season. Lance McCullers Jr. is on the IL. They just got this guy back. They're #1. Houston again playing better. 5 games under 500, but it's wide open in the American League this year. Chopped slowly out the middle of the infield, and there's no play. Altuve whiffed on it as it rolls out into shallow center. But that should go as an infield hit for Guerrero, and it does.
Perfectly placed with 2 strikes from Vladdy Guerrero Jr. The only chance is for Altuve to come in and try and barehand this on the run. Very difficult play, especially as it gets close to that grass, dirt type of cut. Sometimes you get some weird bounces right there, but Vladdy will take it, especially against a tough guy in Brown.
So a base runner with 2 down for Alejandro Kirk. And Kirk was a part of that comeback in the 8th inning in Chicago on Saturday. Had a pinch hit RBI single a couple of batters before Okamoto hit the 3-run homer. Out of play, and it's 0-2.
That at bat was so good, Dan. Came off the bench, wasn't in a rush, got down 0-2 early, took 2 pitches to get down 0-2, fought back to get to 3-2, fouled another pitch off, then barreled it. That's exactly what I think John Schneider absolutely loves, when you're in a big spot, in a tight spot, and you put together a pro AB. Just was in no rush, totally confident, and kept moving the line.
The return of Lucas from the IL and the return of Kirk from the IL has given them a higher overall quality of professional at-bats.
And John Schneider said it diversifies our lineup a little bit, and I think manager speak translated into baseball speak is these guys are not in a hurry. They may not chase as much. They're not going to swing at the first pitch and make bad contact. They're going to get into the AB.
And they may not score off Brown this inning, but remember what we told you. John Schneider said before the game plan is wear Hunter Brown down if they can. Just his 2nd start coming off the IL. They've made him throw 23, and now the 24th coming up here in the 1st. You might not get him this inning, but you might get him later by making him throw a lot of pitches now, or you might just get him out of there a little bit quicker.
You might get him when he's on the bench. Get some reliever in the 6th or 7th. These are little victories throughout a baseball game that play big dividends.
And that one's going to go through the right side for a base hit. Guerrero up to 2nd, and the inning continues.
Well, it's another sinker from Brown, and Kirk just inside out. So look how flat that bat is at the top of the zone, ladies and gentlemen. That is so difficult to do at the top. It's so easy to lift and try and create lift and be underneath that baseball, foul it off or fly out to right field. His ability to stay level through the top part of the zone is almost unmatched.
So now Dalton Varsho comes up. Hit a 3-run homer on Saturday. That opened the scoring for the Blue Jays and hit it off an elevated fastball. He's done a better job this year getting to those fastballs just above the zone. He may see some of those from Hunter Brown.
Guarantee you they're going to feed him velocity up at the top until he bats him out of there.
A little bit too high. 1-1. And it's not like any of that is a surprise to Varsho.
Oh no, he knows it's coming. Yeah. It's just about discipline, not giving in to that pitch before and staying true to it and making sure that when he gets it, he doesn't miss it.
1-2. That one just maybe 2 or 3 inches lower, and that's enough of a difference that Varsho went after that one.
And that's the pitch that's right in that weird zone that your eyes see it and they say release, but with his extension and carry, it stays at the top.
And he got him swinging to end the inning. So the Blue Jays make Brown work, but he strands a couple. Tuesdays at the ballpark always taste just a little bit better. Join us tomorrow for a special daytime edition of Looney Dogs Night presented by Schneider's. Get your tickets today at bluejays.com/tickets. Yes, it is an earlier start tomorrow if you're coming down to the ballpark. It is a 4:07 first pitch. That's because there's a World Cup match just down the way. Tomorrow night at 7 o'clock here in Toronto. Panama and Croatia playing tomorrow night, so the baseball game moved up by 3 hours to try to alleviate some traffic. Here's a familiar face. Everybody remembers Joey Loperfido, the former Blue Jay, came to the Blue Jays from the Astros, part of the return of the Yusei Kikuchi deal, and then traded back to Houston in the offseason for Jesus Sanchez. Loperfido came off the IL about 10 days ago, had a quad injury, and getting a lot of run, playing all the time against righties, sometimes against lefties. He's in right field tonight. He's played a lot of left. He's played a fair bit of center, too. It's ground ball to his good buddy, Ernie Clement, 1 down. So Cease gets the leadoff man here in the second as he gets Loperfido. Dealing with the bottom of the order right now, Joey, the number 7 hitter. Hitting 8th is the center fielder tonight, Jake Myers. This Houston team obviously over the years has had a ton of success, and that goes back to George Springer's time and Carlos Correa the first time around and Alex Bregman. But they've got a bit of an uphill climb this year because of how poorly they started. They started 20-31 this year. But if you're in the American League this year, Caleb, all bets are off. Just about everybody's still in it.
Got a chance.
Joe Espada's team did not make the playoffs last year despite winning 87 games. Just missed out. Before that, they made the playoffs 8 years in a row and won 2 World Series. Swung on and missed, 2-2.
This might be the year, Dan, where the old saying, it's not how you start, it's how you finish, is true with so many teams sluggish at the beginning of the year. Just who can figure it out and get hot and get on a roll.
I think this is kind of a sneaky, really important stretch for the Blue Jays. 3 against Houston, then 4 against Texas. Both of those teams are right behind the Blue Jays in the standings, and you know, they could be competing with the Blue Jays for a wild card spot in a couple of months. You might not need 88 wins to get in this year, 84 or 83, who knows, but beating the teams around you in the standings is one of the best things you can do. There's the schedule for the Blue Jays leading up to the All-Star break. No terrifying opponents there. It's time to win more than you lose.
Make your move.
Yeah.
There's not very many more excuses left. Yes, Barger's probably, what would you say, 10, 12 days of a rehab minor league stint before he's kind of back into the mix, but a lot of the pieces are here. Talk about Bieber starting tomorrow. They've gotten Cease back. Clements still giving it what he's got, and the pieces are here.
That's strike 3 called to get Myers.
Budweiser is creating more moments to catch up with your first Bud. Visit yourfirstbud.ca for a chance to catch a Jays game with your dad.
Top of the second, rather, on a nice Monday night. Dan Schulman, Caleb Joseph, Hazel May. Glad you're with us. 1-0 Astros. And here's the third baseman tonight, Raynel Delgado, with a first pitch fly ball out to left field. Sanchez the catch, and the Astros go in order. Well, a great weekend in St. Mary's, the site of the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame, including our own Hazel May, who was presented with the Jack Graney Award, presented annually to a representative of the media who has made a significant contribution to the game of baseball in Canada, and Hazel May definitely fits that bill. Hazel, congratulations.
Congrats, Hazel.
Dan and Caleb, thank you very much. Now let's get into more important people. Hitting coach David Popkins said he was really impressed with Dalton Varsho's timing on Saturday in his first game back off the IL. He explained that typically there's an adjustment period of a couple of games for players that have missed a considerable amount of time to get their timing down, and there certainly was no issue for Varsho when he stepped to the plate with 2 on and 1 out in the 7th inning. His big swing put the Blue Jays on the board. It also improved the team's standing when it came to hitting with men in scoring position. Over their last 10 days, they've slugged over 500, climbed to 8th in OPS after struggling in those categories for much of the season. Popkins pointed to the training staff's rehab plan, which kept Varsho swinging throughout the recovery and helped him step right back into form on Saturday. Couldn't get it done, though, in his first at-bat, Dan, stranding a couple of guys on the bases. Dan.
Hazel, thank you. Kazuma Okamoto sends it down the right field line, but it's going to drop just foul. So Lucas has come back. Varsho has come back. They are getting healthier. Springer has come back and gotten hot. Kirk has come back. You look at the lineup now, and here's Okamoto hitting 6th. Jesus Sanchez, who's done a lot of 3 and 4 this year, he's hitting 7th. Ernie Clement, who's hitting over 290, is hitting 8th. The lineup looks longer and looks more like, every year's different, but it looks more like the group they had last year.
And where guys should slot. To get the most out of their production, you don't want to ask too much from a guy like Okamoto, still in his first year in the big leagues. I love Ernie Clement down there in that 8 hole, just lurking around, laying in the weeds, and then big swings from Varsho right in the middle of that order. That's huge. And if Varsho doesn't make that swing in that game, they don't come back. They you could just tell they needed something. The way that game was starting off, coming off of the first game and how that went, you need a spark, and he absolutely gave them that spark.
You know, it's funny, if you look, Okamoto is challenging, and they've already lost 1. If they lose this, they're out of challenges. And they are out of challenges.
Toronto is out of challenges.
Boy, Okamoto, a guy who does not challenge very often, and very surprised, Caleb, that he did it in the 2nd inning. No men on, nobody on. This is not high leverage.
No, that's a mistake.
Yeah.
Especially with Bill Miller back behind the plate, more of a pitcher's type umpire. You really want to save those for a very critical part of the game. Wonder if maybe he forgot that Springer had already used his. I'm sure it happens. Every game is different.
Hit to deep left field, and it is gone. And the power just keeps on coming from Kaz Okamoto, number 17, and that ties the game.
3-2 sinker trying to challenge Okamoto with a 1-run lead, and he must not have gotten the memo at what Okamoto did in Chicago, because it's almost a carbon copy. Middle end slightly up, and he absolutely hammers it to left field.
He is on pace for about a 35 home run, 95 RBI kind of season.
That'll play.
In a year where they need that power.
Yeah, for a first-year player. I know he's older, but he's still first-year player in the big leagues. Check out this swing. Little sinker kind of finishing middle towards the inner part of the plate, but he has been so good at being on the fastball, being ready to hit mistakes, and that's a big thing in this game. If you don't miss mistakes, you're going to be okay. And especially when you have the type of power that Okamoto has. You don't have to hit 330 on sweepers or sliders or breaking balls. Sometimes you get so concentrated on what you're not hitting, you forget what you do well. When he stays in on that fastball, he's doing damage.
Sanchez making Brown work now. Let's take another look at that home run.
I just love the way, Dan, that his body contorts. Look at the lower half stay behind the baseball. No movement forward. Once his heel hits, he just rotates and then throws the hands. The party's out in front. Contact point out in front.
And again, look at the pitch count. 39, and doesn't have an out in the second inning yet. They are doing what they set out to do, what they talked about in that pregame hitters meeting. Again, just Brown's second start off the IL. How deep into the game can he go? One hopper out to Altuve. Brown's velocity waned, and he admitted he got a little fatigued in the 6th inning of his last start. Again, it's pitch dependent as well. The home run, a very good sign. And Joe Espada does not like looking out to the scoreboard and seeing 40 pitches through an inning and a third.
Not when your ace is supposed to come in and set the tone, much like Cease is expected to here in Toronto.
Now Ernie Clement hitting in the 8th spot tonight, hitting .292 on the season. Ernie is not 100% physically right now. Left hip issue, getting treatment on a daily basis as that goes foul, but feeling good enough to stay in the game. And let's be honest, we know a lot of things about Ernie, and one of them is he does not like to get pulled out of a game or not be able to play. If he can get in there at all, he's going to give it a go. And he was in the lineup to start the game yesterday before it got rained out. Rolls this one out to short. Jeremy Pena throws him out, 2 down. So 2 down, and now here's the Blue Jays shortstop, Andres Jimenez, hitting in the 9th spot, batting .232. So if you're Hunter Brown, you grow up in Detroit, you're idolizing Justin Verlander, you mimic, you imitate, you emulate what you see, and then you grow up to actually be good enough at it to do it in the major leagues. Who knew it was that simple?
Well, Dan, with the pitching labs that guys have, they can look up Verlander's release and his spin rate and his XY axis and breaks, and if you can kind of mimic a motion and create some of those same shapes, you might get the same result. Wish we could do that with hitting stances. I mean, I tried.
Who would you have emulated?
I mean, anybody but me, right? Like I liked Ricky Henderson, you know, and then why not Bonds from the right side?
Jimenez says it hit him, and Bill Miller agrees. Let's see if the Astros decide to have a look at it. Joe Espada looking back to one of his coaches who was on the phone and does not look like it. So that's a hit by pitch.
For whatever reason, Andres Gimenez seems to be a magnet right around those shoelaces or shoe tops with 2 strikes. Seems like he gets a lot of breaking balls down and in.
He's at first, 2 down, top of the order. George Springer, who was called out on strikes in the bottom of the first. Off of Brown, and it bounces over to third, and Springer is going to be safe. And immediately, Joe Espada and a member of the training staff of the Astros are on their way out to the mound to check on Hunter Brown.
Yeah, it made a nasty sound, Dan. I wonder if it got bone. It sounded crisp. It made kind of a cracking type of motion. Let's take a look. Yep, right off the left elbow. Good thing it's not the pitching arm. Still.
And he was turned around. He never was not in a position to block it or deflect it or anything.
So many times you get hit in that kind of elbow region, it'll kind of send zingers up and down your arm, and your hands get a little tingly. Sometimes it almost gives you the sensation that you slept funny on it and you wake up and it's totally asleep, and sometimes you just need a minute to kind of get that numbness out.
And it looks like he's all right. Everybody's going to leave the field before he even throws a warm-up pitch or two, so he has obviously convinced them that he is good to go.
But I'm sure everybody in Houston just took a huge breath and a big gasp, much like we seem like we've been doing in Toronto.
So it goes as a base hit for Springer. Gimenez to second. The inning continues. Here's Nathan Lucas getting his second look at Hunter Brown. John Schneider was asked about Lucas before the game, and here are the words he used. Some of the words he used. He's consistent. He's reliable. He stays within himself. He fits in really well, and it's hard to argue any of those points.
Plug and play.
Yeah.
Just a plug and play, trustworthy. You know, pro's pro is, I think, the best way you can put it. He might not win you a game every single night, but he sure isn't going to lose you a game.
Back 0-2. That one maybe just a touch up from where Lucas could really get the good part of the bat on. Again, it's 96-97 up at the top of the zone. 50 pitches now for Brown. He's out in front 0-2. And Lucas went around, could not hold up. And that'll end the inning, but the Blue Jays do get a run on the board on the home run from Kazuma Okamoto, his 17th on the season. And at the end of 2 here at Rogers Center, this game is now all tied up at 1. Fans, phase 1 of the All-Star balloting ends on Thursday. 6 Blue Jays are currently either first or second, which would advance them to the next round, including Ernie Clement, who has more votes than any other player in the American League, any position. Ernie's got over 2 million votes right now and an enormous lead at second base as Jeremy Pena lifts a fly ball to left center field. Sanchez the catch. 1 down. The player who had the most votes first round of balloting was Yordan Alvarez at DH, but now Ernie Clement has gotten more votes than Yordan Alvarez or Aaron Judge or anybody else in the American League. The only player in the majors who has gotten more votes so far than Ernie Clement is Shohei Ohtani.
Wow.
Blue Jay fans are getting the job done.
Him.
Yeah. We showed there Kaz Okamoto too as we began that promo. And Okamoto's been on a really good run for about 3 weeks now. His numbers are creeping up into the, hey, this is possible category.
Push him in.
Yeah. He's frustrated as he falls behind 2-0 on Alvarez. He walked Alvarez in the first. There's a fastball for a strike. 2-1. If you finish first or second, or in the cases of outfielders in the top 6, because there are 3 spots, you would advance to the next round, where one of the 2, it's just a vote between the top 2 finishers to see who the starter is. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has a pretty noticeable lead at first base right now on Ben Rice of the Yankees. Rice obviously having the better year right now, but it could come down to those 2 to see who starts. Blue Jays could be pretty well represented.
They're voting.
Yeah.
Credit to the fans. They're showing appreciation for their club.
I mean, pitchers, you don't vote for pitchers, they get selected, but the guy on the mound tonight has a very good shot. Struck out Alvarez. Dylan Cease is your American League leader in strikeouts, and if he had just a few more innings, would it be top 5 in ERA? He's got a chance to go to Philadelphia.
Yeah, no question. Came into the start tonight with 110 strikeouts, and this just freezes Alvarez. I gotta think he might have been sitting soft, because he typically does not take a pitch that juicy, even with 2 strikes.
2 down. Here's Christian Walker. Cease got that big double play to end the top of the first, set down the Astros in order in the second, and he's gotten the first 2 here in the third. Got him to chase. 1-1. Check swing, foul off, and it's 1-2.
Much more efficient last inning. Just 12 pitches. Opened the frame in the first with 26. Quite a few high stress pitches. See if he can keep that number down. That's the separator between the elite aces in the big leagues. They might have a tough first inning, but they find a way to make up for it on the back end, whether it's a hyper efficient second inning or 5th inning or 4th inning. They find ways to chip away, get back in the zone, and get back on track. Typically you've got 1 inning versus these types of aces to really get at them.
Fouled off. Still 2-2 on Walker. I would think just about a perfect night to pitch. Cool, roof open, no humidity. Fastball, and he got him. Throws another one. 7 in a row set down by Cease, including a called 3rd strike on Yordan Alvarez, and then a called 3rd strike on Christian Walker.
Return it. That's clutch certified. So how's that?
So will it be Gavin McKenna who puts on a Maple Leafs jersey on Friday night? Tune in for the 2026 NHL Draft Friday night, 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific, only on Sportsnet. Bottom of the third here at Rogers Center. The Blue Jays opening up a 10-game homestand. It's a 1-1 tie. An Okamoto home run in the bottom of the second for the Blue Jay run tonight. Here's Vladimir Guerrero Jr. taking one up and in for ball 1. That's a 2-seam fastball. 93 getting up and in there on Vladdy, who had an infield hit off Brown his first time up. Ooh, and he was guessing 4-seamer, and he got a 2-seamer running in on him.
No, 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 yes. versus yes, yes, yes,
Yeah,
no.
he's got Guerrero kind of between here.
We see Ernie Clement. He is a yes, 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 no hitter, which means he's going, and then stopping. At times, we see Vladdy almost trying to read the baseball, look for it, and then make a decision. That's why you see some of those weird check swings.
And then a curveball to get him swinging for out number 1.
And this curveball is so devastating after that very first sinker up in the zone. It's going to come out of the exact same window. Watch it start up and in and then just drop to the inner part of the plate. That's why Vladdy swings over the top of it. He reads that as that same type of sinker is totally out in front and about a foot over it.
And you can see last year the effectiveness he had with that curveball. Again, the number's not big this year. This is just his 4th start. Missed a couple of months on the IL with a shoulder issue. Alejandro Kirk got him for a base hit to right in the 1st. Brown was starting into his motion. Kirk had asked for time. It had been granted by Bill Miller, but Brown maybe not too pleased about it. Either didn't see it, hear it, or maybe just doesn't agree with it. But at the end, it looks like everybody's okay. Cooler heads have prevailed. How does Bill Miller take a good discussion like that?
You better tread lightly.
Good slider. 0-2.
Speaking of Bill Miller, so I'm a rookie catcher and I need some advice how to get with some of these old veteran umpires, and one of my catcher mates says, hey, just go talk to him about UCLA football. He loves UCLA football. I don't follow college baseball whatsoever.
Football
I mean,
or baseball?
Sorry, basketball. I'm all over the place. Football. College football. I don't even know where their standings are, what their record is. I just walked out, hey, Bill, how about those UCLA Bruins? Oh, and he goes into 3 innings worth of UCLA Bruins football, and I'm just agreeing as if I'm a diehard fan myself. My strike zone shrunk for the next 3 years after that, and I was setting up in the other batter's box, and he was hee-hawing, guys. So there's these little tips and tricks of the trade that if you kind of figure out some of these umpires, you can get on their good side. But guess what? Now that we have the challenge system, all that might be all for naught. But it's building repertoire between those umpires and knowing which ones you can kind of talk to and have a good time with.
2-2. Do the umpires initiate the conversation sometimes?
There are some that do, and then there are some that you kind of got to break them down a little bit, soften them up. But that's what I loved. I loved that part of the game. I mean, they're humans too, and yes, this was before the ABS system, and so it's a little bit of gamesmanship going on back there, but just learning what they like to do on off days, just simple things in between games. It gets mundane, and there can be a lot of funny conversations that go on behind the plate, much of which we can't talk about on here.
Kirk with a bouncer to 3rd. Delgado will throw him out, 2 down. You had mentioned the 15-inning scoreless streak that Brown had against the Blue Jays going back to a start in the 2023 season. Extended it to 16 here tonight before the Okamoto home run halted that. Here's Varsho, who struck out to end the bottom of the 1st. And he saw some fastballs up at the top of the zone. That one down near the bottom, called a strike. 0-1. Fouled back. 0-2. David Popkins has more of his regulars back now, with the Blue Jays continuing to get healthier. And the offense has picked up a bit over the last couple of weeks. They've got 13 home runs now in their last 9 games. That's a big jump. Still not as consistent, I think, as you'd like to see them, but they do appear to be generally trending in a positive direction offensively right now, as Max Scherzer on the IL, looking on from the bullpen. He threw from the dugout, rather. Max threw today. This one popped up left side. Delgado is running out of room.
I know there's no way to quantify it, Dan, but I really believe that when certain hitters are in certain spots in a general stacked lineup, you start to just feel comfortable in your role and what you can produce each and every day. When you're kind of constantly shifting between the 2-hole, the 9-hole, or 5 or 6 or 4, or the guys in front of you, the guys behind you, you can get into a nice flow when a lot of the pieces are very similar. And I feel like the Blue Jays are finally getting to that part with all the health.
I like that Kirk's sitting cleanup too, and maybe the cleanup spot doesn't have quite the same aura that it used to, but he's not going to make it bigger than it is. He's not going to get you know, intimidated or anything by it. And
I don't want or need necessarily slug from that position. I want to run producer, because the way this lineup is built and constructed, I feel like that 4-hole is going to have people on base, whether it be Lucas, whether it be Vladdy Guerrero Jr. in front of him. I want to run producer, which is why I loved Bichette in that spot, and I think Kirk's doing a nice job and will get better and better as the season continues and he gets more repetitions underneath him and gets his legs under him.
And it'll change night to night. Like Kirk only plays about 2 out of 3, so when he's out, does Okamoto go up? Does Sanchez go up? We saw Valenzuela in there once on the weekend when a couple of guys were out of the lineup. Well, here's Yainer Diaz going to the mound to have a conversation about Varsho, and I know we've mentioned the pitch count a couple of times already, but Varsho has made him throw 7, and he's about to make him throw his 70th pitch of the ballgame already.
Death by 1,000 cuts is what David Popkins and Lou Iannotti said before the game, and they're absolutely executing the game plan. Does it lead to a 7 spot on the board? No, but when you're facing an elite pitcher like this, you've got to have a refined game plan. The refined game plan was try and beat him out front early, if not just battle. How do you battle? You take away the slug and focus more on bat to ball, which might lead to more foul balls.
3-2 again. It's outside, and he works him for a walk to extend the inning.
So now what it does, Dan, he's a little bit tired. He's a little bit gassed. That might be why Diaz came out. And now you've got a little bit of a tired pitcher on the mound with a guy that can slug. This is a game plan.
And this guy slugged in the 2nd, lining one into the left field bullpen. And was that a phone call down to the Astros pen? He's high, ball 1. You know, this is their guy, their #1 guy, just off the IL, 2nd start. They don't want to put him at any risk. They don't want him to throw too many pitches in any inning or any start. 2-0. Talked about John Schneider in the first, saying, man, this is not the way he wanted it to start for Dylan Cease as that pitch count rose. Now Joe Espada saying this is not going the way I want it to go. Curveball on 2-0 in there for a strike. And it looks like there is going to be some activity. A.J. Blubaugh is getting up now for the Astros. Ball 3.
This is where you do it right here.
Sit on #1.
Oh, and the dagger.
Yeah.
He might be a little bit gun shy, but still be ready for it.
Runner goes. Strike 2 taken, and there's no throw. Varsho steals 2nd. Six for 6 on the year now for Varsho. So he's in scoring position, 2 down and a full count on Okamoto. Bounces foul. They've just had good at-bats.
They have. And I feel like Brown is going to continue to spin Okamoto. There's a lot of room out there in right center field, especially when you hit a home run off of a fastball versus a pitcher. Takes a lot to convince that pitcher to go back in there, especially when you're a little bit out in front. See if he can sit on it and take a chance here.
Up and in for ball 4. Another walk. I mean, Caleb, he might be running out of time here. Blubaugh just got up, and now Diaz is going out to the mound again. They're now buying time for the bullpen, using another visit here. The pitching coach, Joshua Miller, is on his way to the mound.
If you're not going to hit him, Dan, this is how you beat him. You make him work, you stay disciplined, and again, second game in a row where the Blue Jays are just building at-bats. It's what we saw over and over and over last season from this offense, the ability to build it. It's not glorifying walks. It's being selectively aggressive, taking your shots, and then once you get into a 2-strike count, then become a team hitter and have a team at-bat.
His velocity, depending on the pitch, is down 1 mile to 1.5 miles per hour this inning from the first 2 innings. He threw 28 pitches in the first, 23 in the second. He's thrown 26 here in the third. What should Sanchez be thinking about on this first pitch?
First pitch, breaking ball.
Like a changeup maybe, and it comes in low, ball 1. He is running out of time in a hurry here.
Yeah, these are all tactics. Pitching coach Diaz out to do a first and third steal play to give some more time in the bullpen. Don't let him off the hook here. Stay disciplined.
On the outside corner, 1-1. Sanchez did not like the call, and it did appear to be a little bit outside. Remember, and I'm not saying he would have challenged him, but the Blue Jays are already out of challenges in this game. Varsho at second, Okamoto at first, and the 1-1 pitch. Big swing and a miss through the fastball, 1-2. Joe Espada used terms like setting the tone, talking about winning the first game of a series. And right now it's the Blue Jays kind of winning that battle against the #1 pitcher the Astros have. Can they make them pay this inning? Whoa, that got him. Yes, it did. Fortunately, he spun away, and it might have gotten him in the right triceps area, maybe just clipping the jersey a little bit. So Sanchez is unharmed, and the bases are loaded.
Probably looking kind of down and away to cover. That ball starts off right on the inner part of the plate, probably trying to come back with that sinker. Looks like it clipped the bottom part of the jersey.
So the bases are loaded with 2 outs for Ernie Clement. And that almost hit him. A curveball that winds up way up and in. Obviously no intent. People are booing because people are booing. But the bases are loaded. It's a curveball. It's the last thing he wanted to do. But Brown is really fighting it right now. Can they get that big 2-out hit? Fly ball, really a pop-up down the left field line, and it finds the seats out of play.
Only 31.6% of the Blue Jays runs this year have come with 2 outs. That's the lowest in the major leagues. This is an example right here. With 2 outs, bases loaded. They can flip the script a little bit.
The 1-1 pitch. And a challenge coming from Yainer Diaz. And he's right. Man, the Astros are 4 for 4 tonight. Still have both challenges. The Blue Jays 0 for 2, and they're out.
It's the 3rd inning.
Now the 1-2 pitch. And a ground ball to third. Backhanded by Delgado. He'll force the runner at the bag. The Blue Jays make Brown do a ton of work, but they cannot score here, leaving them loaded. So it's still tied at 1, and now a message to your first Bud from Budweiser.
Budweiser is creating more moments to catch up with your first Bud. Visit yourfirstbud.ca for a chance to catch a Jays game with your dad.
And a belated happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. The Blue Jays got rained out in Chicago on Father's Day yesterday. It's 1-1 top 4. And Isaac Paredes leading it off against Dylan Cease. Cease has set down 7 in a row. He has struck out 4 through 3 innings. Boy, that double play ball at the end of the top of the first was big for Cease. And boy, that ground out at the end of the bottom of the third was big for Brown and the Astros. And here's Cease falling behind again, and you can read it in his face. You can see the frustration when he falls behind 2-0. Drills it in, 2-1.
Yeah, tempo looks a little bit slow in this inning for me, just the way he kind of lifts his leg up. We know he's going to kind of turn that head a little bit, but I'd like to see the tempo just pick up just a little bit right there. Pick it up.
What does that do for a pitcher when the tempo's quicker?
Yeah, a lot of times it gets their arm moving, and sometimes when you have fastballs that are missing high arm side, it's because that arm is dragging, and sometimes when your leg is really slow to come up and slow to come down, it doesn't allow that arm to swing and kick back and really get over the top quick enough.
Ran it in on his hands, and it's fouled back by Paredes, who drove in the Astros run with a base hit to left in the first. So as we mentioned, Max Scherzer on the IL through a bullpen today, feeling pretty good. He's on the IL with back spasms right now. Young Mr. Valenzuela's in there with Professor Scherzer right now.
That's exactly where I would be if I was a young catcher. The wealth of knowledge Scherzer has, I'd be asking him, look, what are you thinking in this pitch? If he misses up there, what would you do here? If you had Cease type of stuff, the way the game is gone, do you throw a breaking ball here? Do you try and go sinker in, as it looks like trying to figure out the pitch?
3-2.
Can never ask those veterans too many questions as a young catcher, because most of your experiences are coming behind the plate, but you're trying to accelerate that process when it comes to pitch calling. And when you sit by a guy like Max Scherzer, you can learn a lot from just sitting and watching the baseball game.
Got in. Nasty slider there for strikeout number 5.
Almost impossible when a guy like Cease with his repertoire is able to throw a fastball down and away and then follow it up with the same type of location on the same rail, but with that tight slider spin. Absolutely devastating.
Here's Jose Altuve, who looks at a fastball over the outside corner for a strike. Altuve walked in the first. Cease out in front, 1-2.
So check this out from Altuve. Such a unique hitter. He's not all the way back in the stance. He's going to be right in the middle of the box, and he's straight. But then when he dives, his foot's going to come all the way to that line. Call those divers, and a lot of times he is so difficult because it looks like you've got room on the outer half. It looks like you could potentially crowd him. He's so unpredictable. He's very difficult to throw pitches to because he has a good eye, but he's also a bad ball hitter.
Yeah, he's a very good bad ball hitter.
Incredibly unique stance, straight up, and then he'll dive all the way to that front part of the plate. His front foot will be touching the first part of the batter's box.
Reaches for it, hits it foul. His plate coverage He's 5'6". He
Yes.
might be the shortest position player in the majors, and look at his plate coverage.
It's unbelievable because he doesn't have these gigantic arms with long wingspan, but he's just able to contort, and he's a pest. He's like a fly that buzzes around your head and you can't get him out of there, and he can extend at bats, and he's a nightmare to call pitches against because you just don't know if he's going to pull you or shoot you to the other way.
Second to Freddie Freeman in hits among active players.
And down is better than up. He's actually a better high ball hitter. Most shorter guys are really good high ball hitters because most pitches just don't get all the way to the bottom of the zone. But again, like you said, he's not a very tall guy, so it takes a lot for pitchers to get over and get that ball all the way down in the zone.
In his prime, he would ambush guys on first pitch fastballs to lead off a ball game. He was a leadoff hitter for most of his career. Big games, playoff games. I mean, you know, big time pitchers would come out feeling good, throw their best fastball on the first pitch of the game. Pow! Crawford boxes.
And then that train would shoot off that cannon and send me into cardiac arrest.
Curveball and a beauty to get him.
Well, I had a pitching coach that said, you got to double up, you got to double up. Well, he went for the breaking ball right before it, and then he doubled up on it. Beautiful 12-6 curveball. Just so many weapons at the disposal of Cease.
That's 4 consecutive strikeouts now for Dylan Cease, and 6 on the night. And with 2 down, here's the catcher, Yainer Diaz. Tripled up on the curveball, missing down and away for ball 1 in this at bat. Missed away 2-0. Luba is still up in the bullpen. Hunter Brown may be done after 3 innings.
I would think so.
85 pitches through 3.
Potentially batter to batter, but that'd be a huge W for the Blue Jays to get him out of that game after 3.
And one other thing about this Astros team, they are currently running a 6-man rotation, which means they only have 7 relievers as opposed to the traditional 8. Challenge coming from Diaz.
The batter challenging the strike ball.
Man, they're 5 for 5 in this game.
I mean, you mentioned it, Dan, that they know the strike zone, and it is on full display.
This is popped up. Okamoto into foul territory, makes the play, and Dylan Cease has now retired 10 consecutive Houston Astros. So Cease threw 4, giving up just 1 run, and it did look like Brown is out of the game. It's 1-1 going to the bottom of the 4th.
Dude.
The Hillman's Mail Break. Up your break game.
Wings for your summer. Also in sugar-free.
Welcome back. George Springer due up second in this inning for the Blue Jays, and David Hopkins there has closed Springer's stance at the plate and moved his hands a little lower in order to get him a little more relaxed. He says his hands were a bit stiff, and relaxing them allows Springer to get a little stretch, a little looseness when he loads and not get so tense at the top of his shoulders. More relaxed hands makes it easier for him to stay on the ball better. And as you see, that slight change in pre-pitch stance has coincided with increased patience at the plate with June at 18.4% chase rate for George Springer. Guys?
And a very big development for the offense to get Springer swinging it well, taking it well, and swinging it well up at the top of the order. He's on deck right now as Andres Jimenez lines the ball into right for a base hit on the first pitch thrown by the new man on the mound for the Astros, right-hander A.J. Blueball.
Blueball, 4 out of the last 5 outings have been 2-inning outings, so he can produce a little bit of length for the Astros. Pretty much a 3-pitch mix, 4-seam changeup sweeper. He can rack up the strikeouts. 11 strikeouts in his last 9 innings pitched.
So Brown is out after 3. He threw 85 pitches. That is the most he has ever thrown in 3 innings in his big league career. As Springer takes one a little bit low for ball 1. Brown walked 2 and hit 2. The downside for the Blue Jays, Caleb, is they've left 7 men on through 3 innings. They had him on the ropes, just couldn't get that one extra hit. It's outside, and it's 2-0. He got a big 3rd out in every inning to keep this game tied. But I think big picture, getting Brown out of there after 3 is a big win for the Blue Jays. 3-0 on Springer.
For sure, and that's what the Aces do. They limit damage, and he's not going to love that outing because it was only 3 innings, but he's going to love the fact that his team's still in the game. Many starting pitchers, with all the traffic the Blue Jays had, they would have given in and could be a 4 or 5 run deficit here, but he's kept them in the game.
Not close. Ball 4, and the Blue Jays have 2 on with nobody out.
Again, Blue Jays building a big inning, big first pitch ambush from Jimenez, and then Springer continuing to show that patience at the plate. Got to strike when the iron's hot. It's been hot for the last 2 or 3 innings. Now's the time when you got to force the issue.
Two on, nobody out. Lucas, the batter, in on the corners, at least at third. He shows bunt and spins away from ball 1. So the Astros are thinking about this. Delgado is in. Walker a step inside the bag as well. Does John Schneider leave it on, or does he take it off here?
Well, sometimes when you get in a 1-0 count and you see how the infielders will react, manager will take it off to let him try and swing through.
A lot of room on the left side of the infield. He shows again, and he gets it down. It's a good one. Delgado, high throw, and Lucas is safe. It looked like maybe he was waiting for Altuve to get there. Didn't get a lot on the throw, and the bases are loaded.
The second throw from Delgado that he kind of shot puts over there. He's in there in a hurry, and watch him just kind of stutter and just barely kind of lollipop this ball over there. It brings Altuve off the base. Had one earlier where he just really easily kind of tossed it over to first base. I wonder if there might be a little something going on there at third base.
Here's Guerrero. The scoring on the play, by the way, a sacrifice for Lucas to advance the runners, and then an error on Delgado allowing Lucas to reach first. You can hear them chanting Guerrero's name. He's 1 for 2. Oh, and he lunges at a ball way down and away, and it's 0-2.
It's just a sign of a player that's wanting to be the hero. Obviously frustrated, wants it so badly. He knows that he hasn't hit a homer here at Rogers Center in ages.
And you can't blame A.J. Blubaugh for trying it again, but this time Guerrero was able to pick it up and not swing at it.
You know, you got an opportunity as a hitter right here to reset. You have a really poor swing decision, uncompetitive pitch. Now reset, lock in, have a good team AB.
And totally fine to think opposite field, big part of the field, just keep the line moving.
Absolutely, right? It's exactly what he did in Chicago, and I love those swings. It alleviates pressure, Dan. When you think you've got to hit it over the fence, that's when you start gripping it tight.
Bases loaded, nobody out, and the 2-2. Way foul down the left field line into the second deck. A right-on-right changeup. That's why he was so far out in front of it.
Very rare pitch that you'll see, much like a rare left-on-left changeup, but can be very effective.
That's outside, and it's full. Jimenez at third, Springer at second, Lucas at first, and a full count on Guerrero. To left field and caught by Alvarez. Jimenez will tag and come in to score. So it will be a sac fly for Guerrero, and the Blue Jays have a 2-1 lead.
He gets it off the end of the bat a little bit, but he's able to stay through it and keep it off the ground. That's a big deal. If that ball's rolled over to third base, I guarantee they go home to first. Really nice read from Jimenez right there on that weird in-between liner to Alvarez. He goes right back to tag. That's a very good read, because if that ball does bounce, he still feels, because of the depth of it, he could be able to advance. So many times runners get caught in the middle. They try to run back and tag, and they get held up at third base.
So it's 2-1. The other runners where they were, first and second, one out. And here's Kirk. Lays off, down and away, ball one. Kirk 1 for 2 on the night. Boy, base runners inning after inning for the Blue Jays here tonight. 1-1. Jimenez got it started with a base hit. Springer and Lucas are still aboard. Diaz sliding way outside. And Kirk hits it off the end of the bat to shallow right field, and in comes Joey Loperfido, 2 down. So with 2 outs, it'll be Dalton Varsho, and Caleb, he's going to see a much different kind of pitcher here than he saw from Hunter Brown.
This is a spot where I could definitely see Varsho catching something out in front. Stay disciplined right here. So many times you're wound up because of the high velocity fastball, the extension that Brown takes. So easy to be out in front early versus a pitcher like this. Discipline is the key.
Delgado's in at third. Should Varsho drop a bunt down, perhaps? He is not dropping a bunt down. He hits it to center. Deep but playable, and Myers will make the catch. The Blue Jays loaded with nobody out, get just the one, but they do have the lead.
Hey, do you have a charger out here? I'm getting low.
Toy Story 5 is the #1 movie in the world.
#1, you made #1.
It's a global phenomenon that's certified fresh.
This is serious, Mr. Pam.
See the summer's biggest event.
Car!
Only in theaters.
Clear!
Disney Pixar's Toy Story 5.
Get ready for epic action on the big screen this summer with Supergirl, starring Millie Alcock and Jason Momoa, in theaters June 26th.
Fans, you can win incredible experiences across the country during the Jays Care Canada Day 50/50 jackpot. Take a trip on the Rocky Mountaineer, golf at Cabot Cliffs, or see polar bears at Hudson Bay. Join now at bluejays.com/50/50 from participating provinces. How are we talking about Canada Day already?
Wow.
It's coming.
Happening quick.
Yeah. Canada Day is at the end of this homestand. Bo Bichette and the New York Mets will be here next week.
That'll be weird. You think?
I think it'll be, yeah, I think it will. I mean, 7 years and a lot of huge moments, a lot of big hits.
Do you think Bichette will be a little emotional when he gets his tribute video, or stoic?
Stoic.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll show it. Maybe he'll feel it. A called strike on Loperfido, 1-2. I mean, I think he'll step out and tip his cap. You know, he'll do all that, but I don't think we'll see much emotion from him. It's not his way, right? So
sometimes you got to leave a place to really realize how much you love and miss it, and been through that as a player, and a lot of good memories here. Grew up, drafted, developed. Some of his good friends on this team. Tons of great moments, memories.
Three-time All-Star.
I think the ovation will be well deserved. There's one of his best friends, kind of first year in a long time not playing with Guerrero Jr. and there's just so much comfort in coming back to the same place over and over and over, whether it's the parking attendant or the clubbies or.
Strike 3 called as Cease gets Loperfido.
It's another hard biting slider. Watch this strike 3 call. Bam! I love that.
For those who don't know, Caleb is a big fan of umpires' strike 3 calls.
I love them.
He can imitate almost, maybe not almost, he can imitate all of them.
Addicted to it.
Joe Siddle loves groundskeeping. Caleb Joseph loves strike 3 calls.
It just shows you how many foul balls to the face we had. We're a little messed up here, but and that was a good hard biting slider from Cease. Really found the feel for that.
Jake Myers will lift a fly ball to right center. Lots of room out there for Dalton Varsho, and the second out.
And it's just so devastating when you have those two types of breaking balls. You're, as a hitter, you're seeing it spinning, but you're seeing it in the middle, lower part of the plate, and you're thinking, man, that looks just like the breaking ball that has more depth. I'm going to take it because it's going to be underneath, and then turns out it's the slider that's not moving as much, clips the bottom part of the zone.
2 down, and now the number 9 hitter, Raynel Delgado. Takes a fastball over the top of the zone, 0-1. Rookie season for Delgado, 26-year-old from Cuba. Just his 7th big league game. Changeup misses down and in, 1-1. Cease, after having to throw a lot of pitches in the first inning, has gotten his pitch count a little bit more under control. Now he hasn't given up a base runner since the first inning, so that helps a lot. He's at 83 right now, trying to finish it off here in the 5th. When you're a Dylan Cease, when you're a Kevin Gausman, at minimum you want to go 6 innings if you can. Ease the burden on the bullpen. A chopper up the middle. Tricky hop, and the skip across is in time. Andres Jimenez got a weird big bounce and bounced it across to Delgado, to Guerrero, intentionally, Caleb, to get that out.
Love that stretch. I thought it was going to hit the base, but it didn't.
Let's figure out why I just said Delgado on that play as we go to Jamie Campbell for an update.
Accountable. Choose news, not noise.
Well, folks, summer is here, and there is no better place to spend it than the ballpark. With the roof open and the sun shining, now is the time to get out to Rogers Center and catch the Jays in action. Secure your seats today at BlueJays.com/tickets. Again, the beginning of a 10-game homestand. 3 with the Astros, 4 with the Texas Rangers, and then 3 with the New York Mets. And Houston and Texas just not that far behind the Blue Jays in the standings. You never know what's going to happen, but these could be teams the Blue Jays are competing with for a wild card spot in September. Joe Espada's team, like John Schneider's team, playing better lately. Each of these teams 17-12 in their last 29 games. Now Okamoto has homered and walked tonight. Lays off there, 2-2. Second inning of work for A.J. Bluebaugh out of the Houston pen. Guerrero and Edwin Encarnacion having a conversation. You often see these two talking when Encarnacion is in town. Oh, nasty pitch there. A changeup from Blubaugh to get Okamoto.
Really good arm side run. That's Blubaugh really getting over this baseball, almost like a screwball. And look at the motion. Watch him just really get over that circle change. Watch his hand turn towards the first base dugout. That creates that down and in action. And the way it was spinning, that's the key.
Now Jesus Sanchez, who grounded out in the second and was hit by a pitch in the third. That one sent foul left side. The Blue Jays have 5 hits. The Astro pitchers have walked 3 and hit 2. But the Blue Jays have left 9 men on through 4 innings. Could easily have a bigger lead. Sanchez, of course, acquired in an offseason deal from Houston. He finished up last year with the Astros. Did not do well there after they got him in a deal with the Marlins. And that's the guy the Blue Jays sent back to the Astros. Joey Loperfido, 1-for-1 deal. Outside, 2-2.
You think it was a little weird for Loperfido getting traded to Toronto and then traded back?
Sure.
Like, you think the first couple of days you're like, hey, like, why'd you trade me in the first place?
Right.
You know, like, oh, so do you like me or not like me? Which one is it?
But then I guess once you get over that, you know half the guys, you know the training staff, you know the coaches, you know how to drive to the ballpark.
Yeah, it's familiar, but it's kind of odd at first. I know how most players feel when they're traded against a team. They circle their opposing team on the calendar. Can't wait to play against them, but then they trade for you, and now you got to figure it out really quick, put those feelings behind you.
Sanchez takes a walk.
Love seeing Encarnacion with Guerrero Jr. Eddie just so good at looking for certain pitches. Had a lengthy conversation with him on the batting circle today.
Clement hits a high fly ball down the left field line and foul into the seats. That's an Ernie Clement special right there. 96 up and in, and he got a pretty decent piece of the bat on it. Now the 0-1. As you mentioned, Blubaugh is a multi-inning guy. 47 innings on the season coming into the game. He can definitely go 2 if he's going well, maybe even further than that. Sanchez the lead. Big hole on the right side of the infield as Clement chases 1 and 2.
It's just got that feel, Dan, of one of those games where you're going to have to just make a push at some point, because with the firepower that the Astros have, especially at the top of the zone, first 4 or 5 guys, they with one swing can put one out. You don't want to let a team like this hang around too long. They're trying to give this game to the Blue Jays, and I think this is where it's this part of the season where when teams try and give it to you, whether it's free passes or a couple mistakes on the infield, you've got to take full advantage of these.
There's a base hit into right for Clement.
Get game-changing internet and Canada's most reliable internet. Rogers Xfinity. We got you.
So here they go again. The Blue Jays have had at least 2 men on in every inning. They've got first and second, one out here. They are 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. They're 2 runs on a solo homer and a sacrifice fly. And the batter is Andres Jimenez, who has been hit by a pitch and has singled and scored. Delgado in at third. The rest of the infielders halfway as Jimenez takes ball 1.
A little interesting to see Delgado in right there with 1 out. Maybe trying to defend against a sneak attack bunt option, but I don't see it.
And he was in there in a similar situation, first and second, but 2 outs for Varsho in the last inning too.
Maybe the Astros just believe there will be 0 balls hit in that general direction, so defend against the one possible option.
Or if there is contact, likely to be a chopper or weak contact towards third. But it also, the closer a corner infielder is, the less reaction time he has in case the ball's hit hard that way. But now he's backing up, so it definitely had something to do with the bunt. Luba out in front, 1 and 2. Taken down and in. To second. Altuve to Pena and on to first. They'll turn it. And again, the Blue Jays threaten, but cannot score. It is still 2-1 now at the end of 5.
Made with high quality ingredients. It's the factor that can help make a difference.
Z is for Zepbound. A is for asking. To begin the conversation. Is Zepbound the right choice for you? Ask a doctor about Zepbound. Visit Zepbound.ca for savings.
Dylan Cease opening up this series for the Blue Jays. Had a bit of a bumpy first, 2 hits, 2 walks, 1 run, but has now set down 13 in a row. Pitching decisions presented by Sage, official finance software partner of Major League Baseball.
84 pitches on the night so far for Cease, 33 of them fastballs, almost 40% to the left-handed batters. Look at the strikeouts. He's gotten 3 on the 4-seamer, really tight slider, really found that slider around the 3rd or 4th inning, and that knuckle curve has had really good depth this outing. Love what he's featuring. I love the fact that he got right back into the pitch count totals after throwing 26 in the first, 12 and 13 in the second and third to get him back on track.
Feels like a big inning. Top of the order, 3rd time through. Jeremy Pena, who had a base hit and stole a couple of bases and then scored in the first. He flied out in the 3rd. And if Pena's up, that means Yordan Alvarez is on deck. And then Christian Walker after him. And there's something going on with Pena. Pena missed several weeks with a hamstring injury earlier this year. Again, the Astros, the Astros, they can put their number of injuries up against the Blue Jays injuries. They've been as banged up as the Blue Jays have been. And he was on the IL with a hamstring issue earlier this year, and he grabbed that right hamstring.
That's hammy. And those are finicky, and I'm not sure he's going to stay in this ball game.
He is not. The Astros have just lost one of their very best players in Jeremy Pena.
Hamstrings can be so tricky at times, and one thing you know for sure, if you feel something and you press it too far, it can really extend the recovery period. Spot is going to have to figure out who he wants to insert, start working that scorecard.
So a bit of a delay as Cease waits, and it looks like it will be Bryce Matthews coming out of the dugout to pinch hit.
This is the worst as a bench player, too. You're just over there eating seeds, thinking maybe I'll come in later in the game, and then manager says, "You're in, bud."
And just for context, the hamstring injury Pena suffered earlier this year was the right hamstring, and that's the one it looked like he reached down and grabbed. So Matthews steps in and takes outside, a ball and a strike.
Yeah, it was a short conversation. Wasn't very much pushback from Pena. Probably been monitoring that for a while now.
Matthews, former first-round pick back in 2023. Swings through a high fastball, 1-2. He appeared in 13 games last year. He's been more of a regular this year. He's got a little power, 6 home runs, but hitting just .206 on the season. And Cease gets him with a good slider down and away.
Well, I love the sequencing from Kirk. A lot of times when you have a pinch hitter coming off the bench, they're ambushing, ready to go. He drops a slider in, then speeds him up top with the 4-seam, and then goes right back down to the slider. Very veteran-type pitch call right there from Kirk all the way throughout the rest of that at-bat.
Now Yordan Alvarez, a walk and a strikeout. So 2 for 19 in his career against Cease. The strikeout in the third was on a fastball that he took for strike 3 called. Obviously sitting on something else. He got plenty of the plate. Change up there. And it is called low by Bill Miller, so it is 2-0.
I think that's a pitch that's going to continue to develop for Cease, much like it's developed for Louis Varland. The more he throws it, the more confidence he's getting in it. Real weapon for him against left-handed hitters especially. A lot of knowledge right there on that bench for the youngster Savage to soak up.
Savage will start Wednesday night of the final game of the series. It'll be Shane Bieber making his season debut tomorrow night. And you saw Pete Walker get on the phone. So Cease is over 90 pitches, working with 1 out here in the 6th, and it looks like somebody's going to be getting up. Fouled back, 3-2. Boy, Alvarez can wait and wait and wait and then just unleash that swing.
It's just nerve-wracking trying to call pitches against him, and this is kind of a trap. AB, you got him 3-2. You know you're a strike away, but you got a 1-run lead. Don't feel like you have to give in here.
Then the fastball lined down the left field line, but foul. And it's Braden Fisher getting up. And one of the unintended consequences of the rain delay yesterday, Caleb, is the bullpen got a bit of a reset.
That was huge. They had to cover, I think it was 14-something innings. The first 2 games. 2-inning start from Gausman. Much needed.
Curveball taken for ball 4. Second time tonight, Cease has walked Alvarez. Pete Walker encouraging his pitcher. Now Christian Walker, the batter. He has struck him out twice. And a slider for a strike. The get me over slider designed to be in there on the first pitch.
Absolutely. Yep. Get ahead, you know, going into the game. Especially with how the first 2 at-bats go, you could go there in that 3rd at-bat for a called strike.
Tried to get him to chase on that one, but it's outside, ball 1.
And that to me is Kirk just knowing how to navigate through 3rd time through the order, veteran lineup, especially top part of the order. Your pitcher's getting close to 100 pitches. He's been reading every pitch from Cease, what he has, his hot spots, cold spots. Really meticulously getting him through this game, and it's a big deal behind the plate. It's something you can't really tangibly put your finger on. You can't find a metric to really gauge pitch calling, but you can tell how meticulous and methodical he is back there with his pitches right now with Cease.
The 2-1. Missed a little up and in with that two-seamer. It's ball 3. And Walker back to the phone again as Fisher continues to get loose. Out of play, full count. Paredes on deck. The man at first, Alvarez, aboard on a walk. The first base runner given up by Cease since the first inning. But it's just a one-run game. A step off by Cease. Alvarez does not have much of a lead at all, and he is not fleet of foot. He's not going. And the fastball in and out of the mid of Kirk, and you could see him just punch the glove a little bit. Frustrated he couldn't squeeze it.
Just barely off the tip of the glove. Right at the top part of the webbing. Man, as a catcher, you want that so bad for your pitcher.
Over 100 pitches now for Cease. And he walked him. Back-to-back walks with one out here in the 6th. And we'll see what John Schneider is thinking here with Isaac Paredes coming up. Does he give Cease one more batter? They will let Cease throw more pitches than anybody else on this staff. Dillon has thrown 100 or more now 7 times this year, including tonight, and has topped out at 110.
And it's because he retains his stuff. That last fastball he threw, that foul ball from Walker, 98 miles per hour. Last pitch, 90-mile-per-hour slider. So he keeps his stuff throughout each start so well.
4 walks given up in the game. The Astros only have 2 hits, and they were both in the first inning. Paredes will look at a strike. Big spot here. The 0-1. Swing and a miss at a curveball. 0-2.
Talk about don't rushing. That was terrible English. Let's try again. Talk about don't rush the outcome here. You're in total and complete control.
Nothing in the zone.
Nah, just be very careful here.
Fastball up and away that's fouled back.
Perfect. So many guys in this spot towards the end of an outing. 105 pitches now for Cease. They kind of want to get it done. They want to put the ball on the ground, turn the double play, get out of the inning, be done with it, but be methodical, especially against a veteran like Paredes. Now you might see a chase underneath with the slider.
Line down the left field line. Sanchez going over, and he makes the catch for the second out. It didn't sound like Paredes hit it all that well, and Sanchez might be joking around with some fans down in the left field corner after making that play.
Never a doubt. Off the end of the bat from Paredes.
Now Schneider's jogging. This is not necessarily a change. John Schneider has told us, when I jog out, I'm going to check with my guy in the mound and see how he's doing. Altuve is the batter, and Cease is going to stay.
Love it.
Leaving him in at 106 pitches. Altuve tonight has walked and struck out.
Altuve generally really good with slower breaking balls. Sliders are better. You can get him on the ground with a sinker down and in late in the count. Stay away from him early in the count. Pitch him backwards. Soft stuff early, hard stuff close to the body line late is the scouting report against Altuve.
And Kirk and Cease could not get together on a pitch. You saw Kirk just wave at Cease, say, step off.
Which generally when you have a meeting like that, as the manager's going back, you determine the first pitch.
Fastball and a swing and a miss, 0-1. And you talk about the stuff carrying late in the game. Pitch number 107 was 99 miles an hour. Bounced up the third baseline, rolling, foul, and it's 0-2. And obviously a good decision by Kirk. There would not have been a play on Altuve.
He had to make a very split-second decision. He thought about getting it, and then once you see the spin, you've got to make a decision. It almost tried to turn back into fair territory, but once he decided about 2 steps into chasing that baseball, he realized, I'm not going to have a chance. So then you do or die, and hopefully it rolls foul, and it did. Same scenario, Dan, as we just talked about with Paredes. Very bad ball hitter. You might want to get him out with a slider underneath, but maybe you need to go up top a couple times to open it up. Whichever one he wants, don't rush it.
2 on, 2 out, and the 2-strike pitch. Man, that's what we're talking about by plate coverage. How does that guy get to that pitch?
Especially when the front hip is going the opposite direction. Look at his front hip going backwards. It's almost as if his torso moves away from the ball, but he's able to throw his hands at it. How do you do that, especially with a 33-inch bat that Altuve uses?
And a little looper over the head of Guerrero drops in. And Alvarez will come in to score. Altuve with an RBI single. Didn't hit it hard at all, but got it into shallow right, and the Astros have tied the game.
The ability to extend an at-bat from Altuve bought him a pitch up middle, and he's just able to get enough of it to tie this game up.
And that will be the end of the line for Dylan Cease. Now, after 110 pitches, 5 2/3, 2 runs allowed, and a couple of men on, as he hands the ball to his manager, and Braden Fisher is now on his way in. So it's on to the bullpen now for the Blue Jays in what is now a tie game. It's Braden Fisher.
The 9th game for Fisher. I'm interested in how the breaking balls react. Last couple times out, actually, they've been backing up. See if they can finish on the glove side part of the plate.
Yainer Diaz, the batter, swinging bunt. Fisher has it on to first in time. Good play. 1 pitch, 1 out. 2-2 going to the bottom of the 6th.
Tomorrow on Sportsnet.
Are you a Rogers customer? It's Canada's winning inning. When the Blue Jays get a hit this inning, you could win exclusive 50th season prizes. With Caleb Joseph and Hazel May, I'm Dan Schulman. Bottom of the 6th inning, tied at 2, top of the order. You're looking at George Springer, Nathan Lucas on deck, then Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in a game where, quite frankly, it feels like the Blue Jays should be winning, and maybe by a fair bit, but they have stranded 10 men through 5. And they will get a look at the 3rd pitcher of the night for the Astros, right-hander Enyel De Los Santos.
Last time out versus Detroit, 1 strikeout over 1 inning, but going back a couple more outings for him, gave up 2 runs and 3 runs in back-to-back outings. He's been a little vulnerable lately. It's 4-seam slider changeup.
And a couple of defensive changes. Remember, Jeremy Pena left with an injury. So Bryce Matthews in the game at 3rd. Reynel Delgado moves over to short. And Springer looks at a fastball in for a strike. George tonight, a strikeout. An infield hit a comebacker off the body of Hunter Brown, the left elbow of Hunter Brown, and then he walked in the 4th. De Los Santos out in front 0-2. Braden Fisher threw one pitch, got one out, and it certainly looks like he's coming back out for the 7th. Boy, that's a good mix right there from De Los Santos as we go down to Hazel.
Dan, Nathan Lucas still thinks his timing is a tick off. He doesn't feel great. He said it could be something with his stance or his posture. Something isn't in sync, he told me. Whatever it is, it's off. Now, Lucas is still sneaking in some hits, getting lucky on others, as he put it. Those are what's keeping his head above water until he really starts feeling good again. Hitless tonight, guys.
Hazel, thank you. Red hot for a while, and as Hazel said, still getting his hits. Maybe not red hot anymore, but still grinding away, doing Nathan Lucas things.
Must be nice to not feel great with a 301 average, considering how he started the season. He was telling me behind the batting cage, trying to narrow his stance up a little bit.
1-1.
So that he doesn't get stuck on that backside. From time to time, he'll have more of a wider type stance, trying to really catch that ball out in front and create a little bit more lift off. It's a pretty wide stance, but you see that little step back, trying to get comfortable, not getting stuck on the backside.
Fastball in there, 1-2.
And stuck on the backside means that you're not really transferring your weight, and your swing starts underneath the baseball. It kind of starts under and moves up over it, so standing a little bit closer can get you above it to start to then get down and through it. When he's behind the baseball, we see a lot of elevated fastballs a little bit higher that he's able to get behind. When he's stuck on the backside, he's underneath them, whiffing.
And De Los Santos gets him with a changeup, back-to-back strikeouts.
Very low arm slot for De Los Santos, more of a slinger, but he's got control, really tight sweeping motion on the slider. But then when you have a changeup like that from that arm angle, the cell is what gives it away. His arm through that zone makes you think it's a four seam, but it's actually pulling the string on that changeup.
So 2 down, the base is empty. Here's Guerrero. De Los Santos has it, and he makes quick work of the Blue Jays. We are through 6 at Rogers Center. The Astros and the Blue Jays tied at 2.
$7 p.m.
Kazuma Okamoto has been heating up at the plate. Another home run tonight, and now it is your turn to rep him. Be one of the first 15,000 fans of the ballpark July 20th and take home a Kaz Okamoto t-shirt. It's the perfect way to celebrate Toronto's newest slugger. Get your tickets now at bluejays.com/promotions. He's got another one tonight. He's now got 17 homers, more than any other third baseman in the majors. Two tie, top 7. Joey Loperfido to face Braden Fisher. And Loperfido has lifted it to right center. Varsho there. 1 down. With the benefit of the rain out, Fisher has had 2 days off since he last pitched. He's been among major league leaders in appearances all season long, sometimes trailing only his good buddy Mason Fluharty. Jake Myers, the batter, the number 8 hitter. He is 0 for 2. No challenges for the Blue Jays. It looked like Myers was challenging.
He was ready.
Yeah, he was ready to go, but it was called a ball. This one bounced out to second. Clement onto Guerrero, 2 down.
Budweiser is creating more moments to catch up with your first Bud. Visit yourfirstbud.ca for a chance to catch a Jays game with your dad.
Nice night and a tie ball game here to open up this long homestand. Tied at 2 here, top 7. 2 down, and the base is empty. Number 9 hitter Raynel Delgado grounds 1 down to first. Braden Fisher not wasting any time. 4 outs on 6 pitches tonight. 7th inning stretch.
$100,000 travel experience.
A very deep NBA draft coming your way tomorrow night. A.J. DiBonsa, Darren Peterson, Cam Boozer expected to be the top picks. The Raptors have the 19th pick in the draft. Find out who goes where tomorrow night on Sportsnet. It was a very cool looking moon tonight.
Wow. What a shot.
That is a great shot. It's tied at 2, bottom 7. Alejandro Kirk facing Eniel De Los Santos, who made quick work of the Blue Jays in the bottom of the 6th. Kirk tonight 1 for 3, had a base hit in the first. Dalton Varsho's on deck, then Kazuma Okamoto. Fastball outside edge at 96, 0-2. Houston bullpen, Brian King, a left-hander, good one of their high leverage guys. Left-handed hitting, Dalton Varsho's on deck. See how it plays out. Off the end of the bat to the right side. Altuve coming over and makes the play for out number 1. And no move that we can see yet from Joe Espada. So it looks like De Los Santos will stay to face Varsho. Dalton 0 for 2 with a walk. Was moving the center fielder Myers more to the pull side, more to right center. Change up down, that was fouled off, and it's 0-1 on Varsho. Again, the third baseman, now it's Matthews in a fair bit. This one up the middle and knocked down by Altuve, but it'll be a base hit for Varsho.
Tried to double up on the changeup, breaks the bat of Varsho, but even if Altuve corrals that baseball, I'm not sure. Watch his push-through move. See how he really tries to aggressively go towards that baseball. That's his only move. Clinks it right off the heel.
Go ahead man on base with 1 out in the bottom of the 7th, and here's Okamoto, who homered in the 2nd. Did that hit him? It did not. Didn't miss by much. Ball 1.
This ball just continued to chase Okamoto. Barely misses the jersey.
Up and in, 2-0. Varsho the lead. And the 2-0 pitch. Goes to a slider to get into the zone. Meanwhile, Pete Walker on the phone. Stuff's happening all over the place right now. Tie game, late innings. Both bullpens are up. Tyler Rogers is up for the Blue Jays. Now the 2-1. Line to left field, and it's a fair ball into the corner. Varsho racing to third. He will be held. Dives back to the bag on the double by Okamoto.
I love this swing by Okamoto. 2-0 hanging slider. Takes for a strike, and then I think he sat on it. Just the way that his body was moving, was able to put barrel to baseball and that ball all the way down into the corner. Watch Varsho right here. Carlos Fabus is going to have to really give him a late look because he was trying to see the throw from Alvarez. Had to put the brakes on really, really quickly.
So it is second and third, one out. The Blue Jays trying to retake the lead. The left-hander Brian King entering the game, and Miles Straw looks like he's
Every flush, you know your bathroom smells amazing. Pair with Charmin toilet paper.
You're watching Rogers Blue Jays baseball presented by Budweiser. The Blue Jays are threatening in the bottom of the seventh. Joe Espada brings in one of his lefties, Brian King.
A lot of times you see that high leverage reliever coming in with big time stuff. That's not King. Probably only going to top out around 92, 93 miles per hour, but he's a soft contact expert.
Miles Straw pinch hitting for Jesus Sanchez. Infield in for the Astros. Straw, as always, is an understand the assignment kind of guy. He knows what the job is. Remember the big walk he took at Wrigley on Saturday to ignite the inning. He'll be happy to take a walk here if he swings. He is thinking about getting it in the air, getting it to the outfield. And now with the count in his favor, does he shrink his zone a little bit?
Oh, absolutely. He's looking one side of the plate on one speed, trying to go right back up the box.
This is in the air to left field. Varsho going back to tag. Alvarez the catch. And a moonshot of the throw to the plate. I mean, that just sailed over home plate. Varsho scores easily. And Okamoto came to third on the play because he could see how high the throw was. And the Blue Jays have the lead.
Well, Miles Straw, he doesn't crush the baseball, but he gets it in the outfield deep enough. Anytime an outfielder has to move away from the target, especially a right-handed outfielder moving towards center field, they've got to corral that baseball, get their shoulder line back on line, and sometimes if you don't get it back on line, you can airmail it.
So a sacrifice fly for Straw. He comes through to make it 3-2. And again, because that throw was so high up in the air, Okamoto could easily come to third on the play. The batter now, Ernie Clement, and a challenge.
Catcher is challenging the call ball.
The Astros are 5 for 5 tonight. Is their streak still intact? Finally a miss.
Houston has one challenge remaining.
The 2-0. Fouled it back 2-1 on Clement, who was 1 for 3 tonight. Had a base hit his last time up. Inside for ball 3.
Need that run, Dan. Need that run at third base. It's a big run right there.
Ball 4. Clement takes a rare walk. Andres Jimenez coming up. And more activity in the Houston pen. Logan Van Wy, a right-hander, is up. Just added to the roster today. Brian Abreu, one of their longtime mainstays in the bullpen, although not having a good year this year, away from the team for personal reasons, Joe Espada said today. Swing and a miss by Jimenez. He went after it. First and third, 2 down. Clement draws a throw, and not a great one at that. Walker bails out his pitcher right there.
I think this is Houston maybe thinking something's up. If Jimenez gets down 0-2, would not be surprised if the Blue Jays tried to create some action on the base pass to steal a run and maybe steal and stop.
Even with Okamoto with third not having great foot speed.
It just depends on how much you trust this left-on-left matchup, how much you prioritize that run at third base. I put high priority on it. Carlos Fabus is down there really instructing Okamoto.
Okamoto with third, Clement at first. 2 down and 2 strikes on Andres Jimenez. Swing and a miss to end the inning. But the Blue Jays get one as Straw drives into Varsho. The Okamoto double was big. It's 3-2 going to the top of the 8th. Tyler Rogers coming in, and we're going to a Blue Jays Central update with Jamie Campbell and Kevin Parker.
Sport Check. Soccer United.
Fans get closer to Blue Jays history than ever before with hands-on history tours now at Rogers Center. Hold authenticated game-used artifacts in your hands like a baseball thrown by Roy Halladay in his last Blue Jay start. Visit bluejays.com/tours for tickets. So the Blue Jays have the lead back. Varsho, Okamoto, Straw combining to push across that go-ahead run. 3-2 top 8. Here's Tyler Rogers.
You see the season numbers for Rogers really good. Under 2 ERA. Whip just over 1. Last time out versus the Cubs, it was a bit of a rough one. 3 hits, 5 runs, while some of those were not his fault. Inherited runner stranded, but perfect guy for the perfect spot.
And he starts Bryce Matthews with a called strike. Miles Straw remaining in the game and left after pinch hitting for Sanchez. Little outside. Two-pitch guy, sinker slider. Throws the sinker about 78% of the time. More than that to lefties, not as much to righties. Matthews replaced Jeremy Pena, who left with what appeared to be a hamstring injury back in the 6th. Just down and in, 2-2. Line drive left field, and it's down for a base hit. So the leadoff man aboard, and now here comes Yordan Alvarez. 2 walks and a strikeout tonight. But look at these career numbers at the Rogers Center. Nobody with 50 at-bats or more has ever had an OPS as high in this ballpark as Yordan Alvarez.
And they've done a nice job. He has not put the ball in play yet. Problem is they've walked him twice.
Outside, ball 1. We mentioned Rogers 78% sinkers, but against lefties it's 89% sinkers. And often tries to do what we saw him try to do right there, find that outside corner. He got it there, and it's 1-1.
Kind of what makes him a little bit different than traditional submariners. He doesn't mind going up and in with that sinker, kind of an upshoot type of fastball to lefties, giving them a different look.
A ground ball that's going to sneak into left with Okamoto playing off the line. Weak contact, but not at anybody, and it's another base hit.
This is a perfectly executed pitch. Isn't even a strike, down and away. Just look at how direct he was to that baseball. I guarantee you this is intentional. He knows Okamoto is shaded over. He's not trying to do too much. They're building an inning. Last thing he wants to do is ground into double play. You see a hole, go that way with it.
So first and second, nobody out here in a 1-run game in the 8th, and the batter is Christian Walker. 0 for 2 with a walk. And a strike. This is, I'm not saying they'll do it, but this is the situation where they love to run Guerrero in behind a runner at first base. Right-handed batter, first and second. Kirk fires down. Here's a ground ball to second. Clement spins, hits Jimenez. Back to Guerrero for 2. That was not the most routine of ground balls to try to turn 2, but they did it.
Boy, Clement does a great job cutting the angle off and hip. That's exactly what it takes. That's 2 double plays in this game that took perfect feeds, perfect relays and transfers to save a little bit of that pressure.
Matthews to third, 2 down. The batter Isaac Paredes. The 1-0 from Rogers is fouled off right side, 1-1. Matthews, the tying run, 90 feet away. And the 1-1 pitch off the outside corner, ball 2.
This is where game management kind of is a big deal. You have 2 bases open. You've got 3 spots in the order to get 1 out with 2 bases open.
I don't want to see Altuve if I'm the Blue Jays. 3-1. And he's on deck.
Your out could be in the hole right now. That's how you got to think as a catcher. Look, 1-run game, 8th inning. I don't want to give in to Paredes here.
Ball 4. So now the go-ahead run is on base. And we'll see how aggressive they are with Altuve, or if they are kind of following your playbook here. There's an open base. It's not first, but there's still an open base.
No, and the thing with Altuve, though, is he's such a bad ball hitter. I'd be having a meeting with Rogers and say, hey, do you want to go after Altuve or do you want to go after Diaz? For me, it's not even negotiable. It's Diaz. I don't care about pitch counts right now. I just throw 4 intentional balls, take my chances with the bases loaded, because I don't feel like Rogers is going to walk the tying run in.
Altuve with an RBI single his last time up. That tied the game. Fouls it back 0-1. Pete Walker on the phone. Is Louis Varland going to pop up and start throwing out there? Runners on the corners, 2 down. And the 0-1. And a ground ball bounced foul up the third base line. Now way out in front, 0-2. It's not Varland, it's Jeff Hoffman getting up. The 0-2 to Altuve is down and away, trying to get him to chase a slider, but it was too far off the plate even for Altuve to have a swing at.
Just feel like this is a good time to go in late in the count to Altuve, especially once you're throwing that slider away. In off the plate, he will chase.
Ground ball to short. Jimenez to Clement to force the runner, and Rogers gets out of it. Got a huge double play, got Altuve, and the Blue Jays still lead.
Budweiser is creating more moments to catch up with your first Bud. Visit yourfirstbud.ca for a chance to catch a Jays game with your dad.
Bottom of the 8th inning on this Monday night, the opening game of a 3-game series and a 10-game homestand. 3-2 Blue Jays. Top of the order, Springer, Lucas, and Guerrero. And another new arm on the mound right now for the Astros. Their 5th pitcher of the night is right-hander Logan Van Wy.
Lower arm slot, primarily 4-seam sweeper for the 27-year-old righty. 4th game of the season.
And good numbers in his 3 appearances, all of them back in May. 3 innings, 1 hit, 5 strikeouts as he sails one to the backstop. Ball 1 to Springer. And the Blue Jays get a little insurance here in the bottom of the 8th. Up the middle, a base hit. 2nd hit of the night for Springer, and with a walk, the 3rd time that he has reached base.
You know, Hazel mentioned him lowering his hands and feeling a little less tension. You could definitely see the hands getting closer and lower to the body, and that just frees him up to then blister this ball right back up the middle. Direction is such a big deal for Springer. A lot of times when you grip that bat really tight and it's high in the zone, it can create tension. Tension is the opposite of speed.
Here's Nathan Lucas. 0 for 3, also has a sacrifice in the game. Looking down to Carlos Fabulous to see what John Schneider is thinking. Do they put anything on here? Again, Matthews at 3rd, way in. Shortstop shading up the middle, big hole left side. back 0-2. Springer being held on at first by Walker. And the 0-2 to Lucas is hit in the air, shallow left center field. And it's going to drop. Myers got a glove on it, but couldn't squeeze it. And it'll be a base hit for Lucas.
Myers did everything he could. Came in closer to that left field area. We know Alvarez doesn't move quite as well in left field. Probably a ball that Alvarez might have had a better shot at, but in and out of the glove of Myers, and Blue Jays are cooking.
First and second, nobody out. 2 or more men on base in 7 of the 8 innings tonight, but have stranded a dozen. That's why it's a 1-run game. Guerrero had an infield hit in the first, struck out in the third, a sac fly in the fourth, grounded out in the sixth. Outside again, ball 2. What are you seeing?
Oh, I love that. Good take. It pitch that we have seen earlier in this game for him to release.
Ball 3. Boy, the crowd here wants it for him. He'll take a strike. 3-1. Sellout crowd, 42,273. Springer at second, Lucas at first. And the 3-1. And he lines it to left for a base hit. Springer will be held. They had to make absolutely sure that ball was getting down. So Springer is held, but Guerrero has loaded the bases.
It's a sweeper that backs up, but Guerrero Jr. is able to get barrel to baseball. See how that ball doesn't finish? It almost acts like it moves towards the inner part of the plate. A lot of times when that happens, hitters are swinging to the spot it should break to, and it ends up getting close to the barrel. Springer unable to really read it perfectly off the bat. A little bit of hesitation there. Caution's better than potentially running into a double play there. You're mounting a big inning. Last thing you want to do is get too aggressive, have the left fielder make a shoelaces type grab and double you off.
Nobody out. You got Kirk coming up, then Varsho, then Okamoto. You play it safe. They're loaded. Nobody out. All smiles. Here's Kirk, 1 for 4. It feels like this kind of stuff has been happening all night long,
which is a good sign.
Which is, yeah, they're getting men on. They're getting them over. Right. Infield in for the Astros. And the sweeper in for called strike 1. Swing and a miss over the top of that sweeper. 0-2. You've obviously got a very good contact hitter here, a very smart hitter, a guy who will use the whole field, a guy at the very least just trying to hit a fly ball and get an insurance run. The 0-2 somehow got a piece of it. That was Altuve-ish right there.
For sure.
Louis Varland's getting loose.
Altuve fouled one off like that, bought himself a middle up fastball and took advantage.
Again, the 0-2. And it's a high fly ball to left. Alvarez waiting for it. Springer is tagging. The throw will come in towards third, and the sac fly makes it 4-2.
The ability to get that ball in the air, Dan, with the location of the pitch. It's the last thing you want to do is get over this baseball and smother it towards the left side of the infield to get a force out at home. Really good swing path. Watch where this ball finishes. It's a hanging slider, but it finishes towards the middle part. Easy ball to smother right there.
Here's Varsho. So of the 4 runs the Blue Jays have tonight, 3 of them have come on sacrifice flies. The other on the Okamoto home run. Varsho's 1 for 3. He's also walked. A bouncer right to short for the double play. So they get 1 and lead by 2 going to the 9th with Louis Varland on his way in.
Martine Geyer along with Jesse Fuchs coming up on Sportsnet Central presented by KFC. Full post-game reaction to what is going down at the Rogers Center. It promises to be a very close finish. It would have been nice to have a few more runs in with bases loaded, nobody out.
We do have Louis Varland coming in. And coming up on Friday, the NHL entry draft after the trade of Brady Tkachuk yesterday. The Sens have 3 first-round picks. The Leafs have the first overall pick. What are they all going to do? We'll discuss after the final out.
So it's a 2-run lead for the Blue Jays going to the top of the 9th inning, and Louis Varland is on the mound. When we last saw Louis, it was Saturday in Chicago, and John Schneider asked him to get 6 outs, and he did. 28 pitches, 1 day off, and back on the mound looking for a save here Monday night.
Real gutsy performance in that 2-inning save. Really trying to run out of gas towards the end, but man, he just has that pedal to the metal type of attitude, perfect for this role.
6, 7, 8 coming up for the Astros. Yainer Diaz will lead it off. Joey Loperfido on deck, and then Jake Myers. And a fastball away for ball 1. 4 runs on 11 hits for the Blue Jays, 2 runs, 5 hits, 1 error for the Astros. A win gets the Blue Jays back to the 500 mark. They are 38-39. They were last 500 at 29-29. Knuckle curve down and away, ball 2. Dylan Cease 5 2/3, 2 runs on 3 hits. Braden Fisher got 4 outs on 6 pitches tonight. Tyler Rogers a scoreless 8th, and now Varland has fallen behind 3-0. Shane Bieber looking on. He'll make his season debut tomorrow night. The 3-1 pitch, and a fastball fouled back. 3-2. Varland coming right after him at 99.
You know what that extra insurance run in the 8th does is it allows you to be hyper aggressive with no one on in the box. You know, a solo shot isn't going to tie the game.
Missed outside for ball 4. And a leadoff walk will bring that tying run to the plate. Joey Loperfido 0 for 3. Swing and a miss over the top of a curve. 0-1. Ground ball to short. Jimenez, Clement, Guerrero for 2. Just what they were looking for.
Huge momentum shifts. The killer for momentum is the double play. Their third of the year. Look at the jump throw from Clement. Perfect feed from Jimenez. This infield has turned 3 double plays in this game that has really shifted the momentum. Those two up the middle have worked so well together all year long, and they just know the timing. That's so important when turning a double play.
So now there are 2 outs in the 9th inning. And Taylor Trammell is going to pinch hit for Jake Myers. Just off the corner, ball 1 to Trammell, a first-round pick back in the day, 2016 by Cincinnati. He has bounced around. He's been with the Mariners, the Dodgers, the Yankees. This is his second year in Houston. How about a changeup for a strike?
Swing and miss in his game. Good medium speed in the zone hitter. Velocity at the top can get him, or soft stuff underneath.
And a bouncer just foul up the right side. Now 1-2. Varland a perfect 15 of 15 in save situations this year. Now looking into Kirk. Now has the one he wants. And the pitch. He got him. Gets it done again. Save number 16. And the Blue Jays do just enough here and there offensively to get the win. Okamoto with another home run. The other 3 runs on sac flies, as you said, Caleb. 3 big, important double plays. They win the opener, and they're back at 500.
It was a complete game by the Blue Jays. Was it the most aesthetically pleasing at times? No, they left quite a few runners on base, but I love the way that the offense was able to put opportunities out there. That's going to give them a ton of confidence. Bullpen